I'm going to show you how to factor some of these problems using what we call the zero product rule. So if I have a problem like this, 2x times x minus 4 equals 0. In order to solve this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to set that equal to 0, and when I'm done, I'm going to set that equal to 0. So I'll show you what I mean. All right, 2x equals 0. When I divide by 2, x is going to equal 0. So one of my answers is 0. Okay? Now I'll set the green one to 0. X minus 4 equals 0. So I just add 4 on both sides. And x equals 4. So my total answer is x equals 0 and 4. That's how you do it. Here's another example. We have 2x plus 7 times 2x minus 7, and that equals 0. And again, we're going to set each section equal to 0. So first I'm going to set, it doesn't matter, first I'm going to set that one, and then I'm going to set that one, okay? All right, 2x plus 7 equals 0. So I say minus 7 minus 7. 2x equals negative 7. Then I just divide by 2, and x equals negative 7 over 2. I can reduce that to negative 3.5 if I want to. The other one is 2x minus 7 equals 0. So I'll say plus 7 on both sides. 2x is 7. Again, I divide by 2. And x is going to equal 7 over 2, or 3.5. So my answers are x equals negative 3.5. I'll say positive or negative 3.5. Those two answers. In this next example, I'm going to try to factor out numbers or letters that I can from each term. So I have two terms. I have this green one and I have this red one. You'll notice both of the terms have x's, and both of the terms have numbers which are divisible by 4. So for example, I can take a 4 out of both of these terms, and what do I have left? On the first term I have an x to the 4th. What do I have left on the next one? 4 goes into 24 6 times, so I have a 6x to the 3rd left. So that's called factoring out. Now, the next thing I want you to look at is this. I have an x to the 3rd power here, and you know, I have an x to the 3rd power here, but I actually have an x to the 4th, but I can take an x to the 3rd out of that. So watch what happens. I already have the 4. Now watch what happens if I take an x to the 3rd out of this thing. If I take an x to the 3rd out of x to the 4th, I have x to the 1 left, because 3 plus 1 is 4. Plus, if I take an x to the 3rd out of this term, what do I have left? 6. So my answer to this problem is 4x to the 3rd and x plus 6. They are the actual answers to those two problems. So on this one, we're going to take the biggest number that we can and the biggest x that we can. So I have a 2 here, and I have an 8 here. The biggest number I can take out is 2. So 2, I'll put on the outside. Now I have an x squared and an x to the 1. The biggest x I can take out is x to the 1. All right, when I take that out, what do I have left here? I just have x to the 1. Plus, when I take out 2x to the 1 out of 8x to the 1, I have a 4 left all by itself, and that equals 0. So then I just set both of these terms equal to 0. 2x equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0, and solve them. So I divide by 2 here, and x equals 0, and then minus 4, and x equals negative 4.